Hi guys, welcome back to the show. Thankfully, I did not wait for another 5 months before coming on here to talk to you guys. So yeah, praise God. But yeah, today I wanted to talk a bit about something that has been plaguing my mind for some time, and it is this desperate attempt by people, especially women, to see the good in people or to make them realize the way they are treating you is bad. I go into that, I want to talk to you guys about the podcast. So on the podcast this week, which is the one that was released yesterday, I was joined by a man who together we discussed extensively about reasons why men sometimes think that they need to suffer more than the usual, or why they don't feel comfortable enough to talk to people about their emotions, or why they can't come out to talk, therefore they suffer in silence. And our podcast is about an hour long, and despite everything we talked about on the podcast, I am still of the opinion that when men say that they suffer more than women, it is usually because of the choices they have made. If you have a counter argument with me, please don't argue with me until you've listened to the entire podcast and you've understood the points from which I am making the statement. But yeah, if you haven't listened to the podcast, please check out Rave with Mara on all podcasting platforms. Everywhere that you can listen to podcasts, please go and listen to that podcast. If you have counter opinion, send us an email, ravewithmara@gmail.com. But I am still of that opinion that men suffer in silence because they choose to, which is largely because of their inflated ego. Yeah, but that's by the way. Today, I'm speaking about something that is very common. I want to draw my talk from a story I heard yesterday. So there is always this desperate attempt, by women to stay by a suffering person or stay in a suffering situation, regardless of, how much shit these men do to us. And, this is not only synonymous to women, but it is more common in women. A close friend of mine called me and he didn't know what to do. The problem is that she is married to this person who, one, she doesn't know how much he earns. Secondly, he doesn't provide money. He doesn't give her money for food stuff. But he comes back to the house and is constantly asking, what did you cook? What is in the house? What are we going to eat today? Why are you not doing your role? And even the money that she makes, she gives to him. And he continues to live his glamorous lifestyle, thinking, everything is well and everything is fine. And I kept asking myself, like, why? Why is there always a desperate attempt to hold on to partners who have shown us countless times that they are not reliable, they don't care about us, they don't love us? Why do we do that? So it goes from, when you're approaching 30, you're saying to yourself, I'm getting close to 30. How I don't have a man. When am I going to get married? I want to have kids. All of this, yada, 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 yada. After that, you entrap a man, or you find a man that you know does not love you, because a person who loves you is not going to be doing all of the shitty things to you. Now, you now get married to this person. You give birth to the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and he's still constantly manipulating you into doing this thing. Why are you still there? According to the story, she and her children didn't have anything to eat the previous night. Whereas this man comes in, he buys food for himself and he eats. And this story took me back to my childhood. I remember one time my mom used to say this thing constantly, that some people have no business being married. It is not that, it's a curse or it is a karma or anything. Some people genuinely have no business being married, and that is clear. It is clear in the way that they carry on with their lives without remembering that, oh, now I have a wife or now I have children. When I was in junior secondary school, there was this lady, our landlady. She's very industrious. She's the one that works. The husband goes to farm. She also goes to farm, but then she comes back. She has a thriving business. She used to make fufu. Like, she does the entire process of it. They peel the cassava. They bring the cassava from the farm. They peel it. She, I think, soaks it. She what's that process? She soaks it, I don't know, dries it or something, then cooks it, and before it becomes the fufu that we know. That's aku for you guys. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Now, she's very industrious. She makes money, and before her children comes back from work, she'll go to a restaurant, eat, and clean her mouth, and come back home and start working. And then the husband and the children are left, hungry till nightfall. When she will now decide, or her husband now decides, oh, firstborn, please go to the kitchen and make something for the family to eat. So some people have no business being married. And I tell people constantly, what are your reasons for getting married in the first place? Are you getting married for companionship? Are you getting married for security reason? Based on you're not from a well-to-do home, you want to marry a person that has money. Are you getting married because your parents are not going to let you leave the house except you're married? Or are you getting married because you're afraid of being alone, or because you want children? So if it is honestly one of these reasons, there are ways you can go about this thing without actually getting married. I'm not going to lie to you, because two people, if you're selfish, you're full of yourself, you're very conceited, you have ego, you are unforgiving, you have no business being married to a person. I'm sorry to say. So I find it very sad, really, when I hear that people are married and they're not compatible. When men and women marry, most don't marry because they love a person. They marry because of what they can both offer each other. Is that you're marrying for that companionship, or a man is marrying a wife because you feel, oh, this person is going to take care of my home or take care of their children, and this is a perfect homemaker, or this person is a perfect arm candy based on what I want for my career or for my future. This person is going to be the perfect fit for me, based on finesse, shape, and all of that. Women marry mostly because this person can give me a good life, and so if all I have to do is just get married to this person, and they marry, and eventually you start hearing these stories here and there. And another thing is, now you find out that this thing where you use I enter, this is not how it is. But you're now worried that if you try to leave, society is going to judge you for it. When are we going to stop letting society decide for us what we want from life? This other person has siblings who can actually help her, but again, with traditions, a brother is not going to help a sister because they feel you are married to your husband should be the one catering for you. That ideology is mad. I remember one time my family was going through a very hard time, and one of my mother's brothers had sent her a large sum of money through my account. This was several years ago. I think I was maybe 18 or 19. And before that money even came about, there were different stories as to, oh no, your husband is doing fine, your husband is working with farm, everything is okay, even though we know that this thing is what is going on in the background. I remember crying one time. I think I was 19 at this point, because I wanted to get a laptop, but my laptop broke and I wanted a new laptop, and my dad was telling me, no, I don't have the money to give you. And I was crying, and a colleague of mine at that time, we're both colleagues and church members, she couldn't understand for the life of her why I would be crying about money, because apparently my dad had a good job and the family was doing okay. So there's that thin line between you not wanting to disclose your family's triumphs to your family members and friends who can actually help you, and keeping the secrets or the boundaries of marriage. That lady now that was told the story yesterday, she went to bed with her young children, little children. I went to bed hungry. And my friend had tried to reach out to her. she refused and said, no, I have pride. And I'm like, you have pride. Your children are going to bed hungry. Which is it? What do you want your children to remember you for? Is it to remember you that you stayed by a partner who was terrible to both you and them? Or is it that they remember you for taking them and giving them a better life or giving them better options? Because as it is, that man is definitely not paying school fees. And then when your brothers or your family members want to give you money and you're like, no, give it to my husband. Now your brothers have told you, I gave this large sum of money to your husband. Why are you still complaining about this thing? And then you are now like, actually he didn't disclose to me, even when you ask your husband repeatedly. This was also something we mentioned on the podcast yesterday. Why do men feel a need to hide their salaries from their wife? All the reasons he gave me on the podcast were very valid. At the same time, I feel like you have no business getting married to a person or a partner whose values does not align with yours. Why are you getting married to a person who you cannot tell honestly that, this is the amount of money that I earn, and if we take out 5 naira from this money to have a family treat or have chicken, at the end of the month, we can't go beyond this budget. So this is all I have, and this is what we have to put in savings. If you don't have a partner you can honestly tell this thing to, then I don't understand why you're getting married. And if you're getting married because age is on your side, and then tomorrow you come out and say you're suffering, you're thinking because your wife is not listening to you, or because your wife does not understand what it means that you are suffering, then why exactly are you people getting married? And I am tired of constantly hearing women say, I cannot leave my partner. I see, when people say that domestic violence, abuse, I feel like sometimes we talk about it from the angle of physical or verbal, and forget that there's a lot more to emotional abuse than even the physical. This woman is constantly being abused, because the next thing you will throw around now is, are you not a mother? If your children are going to bed hungry, then it's left for you to decide, or it is your so it is maddening when I see people give these flimsy excuses as to but at least it's not beating me now, or at least is it until you and your children die of hunger? That, because the money you are making for the family, if it is that you're even using it for yourself and for your children, understandably, but now you make money and you give it to said husband who is not giving you guys money to eat. That is stupidity. How long are we going to keep being stupid for men because of love? You think you love a person and you're waiting around for them to change. That is never going to happen. You can never change a person unless they decide within themselves that they are going to change. So if you're hearing people constantly tell you that you should make a better life for yourself, it is not because we hate you. It is not because we are saying no to love. Honestly, I am in love. I want love for everybody, and I want love around me every day and everywhere, but not at the expense of your mental state. Because how long are you going to keep pampering a man? How long are you going to wait around for him to change and recognize that I'm suffering, so you will take pity on me and change? And all she wanted to do was, I know that this person is not bad, or this person is not doing this thing because the person hates me, is because he needs one person to believe in them. Fine, given that there are some people who life has dealt them very bad cards, nobody believes in them anymore, they need one person to pull them out of that state of depression. But a person who has constantly shown you year after year that I am no good, I never want to change, I do not value you, you are not worth my changing for, why are you still hung up on doing everything for them? So please, I'm here today to tell you guys that whether you're a man or you're a woman, learn to know that there is a thin line between accepting help from outside because you need it, and not because you're trying to ridicule the name of your family or the name of your husband. Don't turn down help. Don't be stupid. In all of these ramblings, I hope and believe that you pick out one or two things that will be very helpful to you. Marry people that you have the same goal at least. at least, even if you're not doing the same thing, have the same mindset that this is what we want for our future. This is how we want our family to be. Don't marry people who you're going in one direction, the other one is going in another direction. There were so many stories we shared on that podcast yesterday. If you haven't listened, go and listen to it. Finally, I want to use this medium to tell you guys that I wrote a book titled Friendship Illusion. There are so many things in that book that are going to be very helpful for you. A lot of things. This thing I talked about is there. The idea that you have to continually, stay by a partner who is shitty to you because you're desperately needing to get married is there. Some family dynamics are very weird. As firstborns, you constantly have to bear the shame of your family and continue to provide for them, and your parents are not helping matters is there. You love a person, you're worried that if you show that you love this person, you be vulnerable to the point where you lose your power of control is there. But this book is a must read for everybody. Friendship Illusion. It comes out in exactly 5 days, which I'm thinking I'll be here after the book is already out. So it's going to be out on Amazon, Okada Books, and BAM Books. Please check it out. I'm going to drop a link on my newsletter for 30 years because the book comes out on 1st of December. Please check it out. My other books as well are online, available for you to get your copy. I also have print copies available at Rovings Heights store, and you can also order from me. Layla Khalid and At 8. These books are a must read. I don't write. People use the word fluff. I don't know what that means. So please get copies of my books, especially the one that's coming out December 1st, Friendship Illusion. For those of you who shy away from smut, meaning erotic books, there are about 2 sex scenes. One is vivid, the other isn't, but they are very avoidable if you don't like those. So please get your copies and see you next week, Saturday. Bye bye.